Hi, welcome to another ColdFusion video. Since we last looked at WeWork, the founder of the company has been pushed out, the investors have found a replacement, and SoftBank has come in to save the day with an $8 billion bailout. But 6 months on, a global pandemic sees WeWork offices empty and a company in a very ugly legal battle with the investment fund that was meant to be its savior. WeWork is far from out of the woods, and their founder, Adam Neumann, drove them on a road paved by SoftBank's millions. But will they be able to find a way out into the light? Let's take a look.
You are watching ColdFusion TV.
As discussed in the previous video, WeWork was far from what it pretended to be. It portrayed itself as a Silicon Valley tech startup like Amazon or Google, but instead, it was a company that owned solid office space, plain and simple. Its valuations were extremely disproportionate compared to its competitors, and their founder, Adam Neumann, well, he was controversial to say the least. In the last video, we pondered what would happen if WeWork, a company that was burning cash at a record pace, found itself in the middle of a recession. What was going to happen when people stopped renting their office space? Well, that day has come, and we find ourselves in the middle of a global pandemic, and WeWork finds itself with empty offices. SoftBank's famous $100 billion vision fund saw a $17.7 billion loss last fiscal year, mainly due to its unfortunate investments in Uber and WeWork. SoftBank, led by Masayoshi Son, has invested $18.5 billion in total in WeWork. In just a year, WeWork saw its valuation go from $47 billion down to a mere $2.9 billion. Son has done some hard reflecting, and he says that it was foolish to invest in the first place. Now Son is pulling back $3 billion worth of bailout money that SoftBank agreed to pay WeWork to keep the ailing investment afloat. This money was part of an $8 billion bailout agreement that would be an injection that WeWork desperately needed. In retaliation, WeWork launched a lawsuit against SoftBank for backing out of the agreement. It's a messy fight to have with your biggest investor. But maybe WeWork has no other choice, with the pandemic rendering their office space obsolete. One person who was very interested in progressing the lawsuit is co-founder and former CEO, Adam Neumann. With the bailout, the former CEO who was kicked out of the company was set to make a whopping $970 million from selling his WeWork stock directly to SoftBank. Adam has launched his own lawsuit against SoftBank and is now looking to merge his lawsuit with the suit filed by the WeWork board.
A dramatic turn taking place in the WeWork saga. Founder and former CEO Adam Neumann now suing the company's biggest investor, SoftBank, which took control of the company.
Hey guys, I'll ask you both this. I mean, the idea that Adam Neumann is bringing this does he just have no shame? He doesn't even recognize how ridiculous it looks to be arguing about how he didn't walk away with an additional $1 billion?
We're going to have to see how this plays out, but it will be interesting to see if Neumann, who was once worth $14 billion, can regain his billionaire status. For pretty much everyone on Earth, the pandemic was unforeseen, and it makes SoftBank reconsidering their deal perhaps the least of WeWork's concerns.
Tall towers can soon face taller financial problems. From the majestic skyscrapers of New York City to the real estate trophies in Los Angeles, the coronavirus threatens to do to office rentals what online shopping did to malls.
As governments around the world put restrictions in place, the WeWork offices sit quietly open. Agreements between WeWork and their customers mean that they can cancel at the end of the month if they signed a month-to-month membership. However, for longer-term agreements, WeWork is still insisting on charging, despite it being against government advice to go into some of these offices. For example, the New York locations have been kept open, and this is in the face of lockdowns by its governor, Andrew Cuomo. WeWork even pays its staff an extra $100 a day if they come in to keep the offices open, despite at least 7 of these New York offices having members that tested positive for COVID-19. WeWork is keeping itself open by declaring itself an essential business, arguing that people need grocery stores, banks, pharmacies, and WeWork. Keeping the office space open is one thing, but then charging its customers for something that they don't feel completely safe to use is an entirely different thing. especially for a small business. This creates two problems for WeWork. One that is, understandably, a large portion of its short-term, month-to-month customers will cancel their membership, at least for a few months until things can get back to normal. The second is, WeWork's action of charging its long-term customers for something that they can't actually access has caused some anger. Angry customers are bringing a class action lawsuit against the company. This is something that could hurt the company severely if it gains enough traction. In the meantime, in April, WeWork collected 70% of its normal rent and paid 80% of the rent to the building owners. So that's not a bad situation for WeWork. Yes, they're still burning through cash, almost $500 million in the first quarter of 2020 alone. But can they survive? And what is the cost of surviving? And will people even return to WeWork after all of this? The big question here, apart from WeWork's cash flow situation, is simple. What does the future of work look like? That's the question that every business is asking now. There's a forced globally shared experience of working from home. In this, many businesses are realizing that they don't need an office for a lot of their people. Technology has evolved so much that many jobs that required a city office a decade ago no longer do. This proof of concept that has happened on a global scale is not one to look over lightly. Sure, many people will go back into the office and many others won't. Will these events reduce demand for shared workspaces like WeWork? The future of work may be uncertain, but the future of WeWork is even more uncertain. Only time will tell if they survive. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. If you want to watch the original video on WeWork, I'll leave that in the link below. Speaking of personalities, I've also recently done a video on the controversy around the foundation of Twitter. I've been told via a person working in Silicon Valley that video has ruffled some feathers in the tech community over there. There's some hot debates going on right now, so definitely check out that episode too if you haven't seen it already. Okay, so thanks for watching. My name is Dagogo, and you've been watching ColdFusion, and I'll see you again soon for the next video. In the next episode, we'll take a deep look into how money is created. It's going to be one of the most important videos I've ever made. Cheers guys, have a good one.
ColdFusion. It's new thinking.